I killed my sister tonight. Not with my hands, oh no. That would have been too merciful. Too quick for the likes of her, but with a single upload, a digital guillotine that severed her from the life she stole from me. She watched it all unfold on her phone screen, her perfect manicured nails clawing at the glass as the world unraveled around her. And in that moment, as her empire of lies crumbled, she whispered through the video call, "I've been waiting for this. But so had I." For years, I'd been trapped in her shadow, her body, her sins. And now, finally, the scales tipped. It started 5 years ago in a sterile lab on the outskirts of Silicon Valley, where ambition masquerades as innovation and ethics are just another line item to cut. My name is Samantha Hale. Or, at least it used to be. Back then, I was a mid-level coder at Neuralink, a startup peddling the future of human augmentation. Brain-computer interfaces. Neural mapping, you know the drill. The kind of tech that promises to make you smarter, faster, immortal if the hype cycles held water. I was good at it. Damn good. The quiet engine keeping the machine running while the execs posed for Forbes covers. My sister, Victoria, always Vicky to her inner circle, always the golden child to mom and dad, was the face of it all. 2 years older, a Harvard MBA with cheekbones that could launch 1,000 apps. She'd clawed her way into Neuralink as VP of Strategy. She didn't code, she commanded. And her fiancé? Enter Alexander Voss, the brooding genius behind the neural swap tech. Alex wasn't just her partner. He was the architect of our downfall. A man whose charm masked a void deeper than the Mariana Trench. Tall, dark-haired, with eyes like polished obsidian. He'd sweep into board meetings quoting Nietzsche while pitching ways to commodify consciousness. "Why live one life?" he'd say, voice like velvet over gravel, "when you can wear 1,000? I never trusted him. Not from the night Vicky brought him home to our family's rambling Victorian in Evanston, Illinois, where the wind off Lake Michigan carries whispers of old Chicago sins. He complimented my work on the firewall protocols like it was small talk, but his gaze lingered too long, dissecting me as if I were code to be rewritten. Vicky laughed it off, her laughter like champagne bubbles, effervescent, fleeting. "Sammy's the brains. Alex. I'm just the beauty." She'd always done that, reduced me to footnotes in her biography. But that lab in Palo Alto changed everything. It was supposed to be a routine demo, Project Echo, Alex's baby, a prototype for temporary neural transference. Swap minds for an hour. Let execs feel what it's like to walk in another's shoes. Corporate team building with a side of existential dread. Vicky volunteered me as the guinea pig, her little sis, always up for adventure. I should have said no. God, I should have walked out right then. But ambition's a hell of a drug, and the bonus they dangled was enough to buy Mom a new hip after her fall. The procedure was quick, helmet on, for drip of some proprietary cocktail, and then nothing. Blackness, vast and swallowing, like falling into the event horizon of a star. When I woke, the world tilted. My hands, Vicky's hands, fluttered in front of my face. Slender fingers tipped with French manicured nails that caught the fluorescent light like diamonds. I touched my cheek, felt the smooth, Botox-kissed skin she'd always flaunted. "What the fuck?" My voice, her voice, came out in that husky timbre she affected after too many martinis. Alex leaned over me, his face a mask of professional concern. "Slight calibration error. You're in Victoria's neural map. She's in yours." He said it like it was a minor glitch. A spilled coffee on the keyboard. Vicky, no. My body stirred on the adjacent gurney. Her eyes, my eyes, blinking open with confusion that melted into horror. Sam? Oh God.
Sam.
Get me out. Panic clawed at my throat. But Alex was already typing furiously, muttering about synaptic feedback loops. Hours blurred into a nightmare of scans and sedatives. Vicky screamed, my screams, raw and unfamiliar in my ears, demanding they reverse it. I echoed her, but quieter, because even then, I knew this wasn't an accident. Alex's eyes met mine across the room, a flicker of something predatory, like a wolf scenting blood.
By dawn,
they'd fixed it. Or so they claimed. Vicky stumbled out in her Louboutins, pale but composed, declaring it the most intense yoga retreat ever. Alex sealed the logs, classified the incident under NDAs thicker than the Bible. I went home to my cramped apartment in Oakland, hands shaking as I brewed coffee in a mug that now felt too small for her memories. But the swap lingered, a ghost in the machine. Flashes, Vicky's memories bleeding into mine. Fragments of boardroom conquests and late-night trysts with Alex that made my stomach churn. Weeks later, the betrayal hit like a freight train. Neuralink servers were hacked, my code. My firewalls breached. Billions in IP stolen. Clients fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. The FBI raided at dawn, badges flashing under the sodium lights of my building. They dragged me out in cuffs, neighbors gaping from their doorways, while Vicky testified from the stand, her voice steady as she painted me as the disgruntled sister, jealous and unstable. Samantha always resented my success, she said, tears glistening like Oscar bait. She had access, motive, everything. I took the fall. 5 years in federal prison for cyber-espionage. My life reduced to a cautionary tale in tech blogs, the sister who sold out Silicon Valley. But it wasn't me. It was her, Vicky, with Alex's help, siphoning data to a rival firm for a fat payout. A secret buried deep in the swap. During those blurred hours, she'd access my neural map, learn my backdoors, my weaknesses. And Alex? He'd engineered the glitch to plant the evidence, framing me while they cashed in. Prison was a special kind of hell. The kind where time stretches like taffy and regrets harden into stones. FCI Dublin. All concrete and regret. Where I learned to fight with words before fists, trading stories with lifers who'd offed their bosses or poisoned their wives. I read voraciously Sun Tzu, Machiavelli. Every revenge flick script smuggled in on contraband Kindles. Vicky visited once. 6 months in, her perfume wafting through the plexiglass like a taunt.
I'm sorry.
Sammy, she cooed, but her eyes danced. Alex and I. We're getting married next spring. You understand, right? It's just business. Business. That word echoed as I plotted, my mind sharpening like a shiv on whetstone. The twist they didn't see coming, the swap hadn't fully reversed. Echoes lingered, neural echoes that let me glimpse their world through digital cracks. Late at night, in the dim glow of a hacked prison tablet, I'd slip into their feeds, Vicky's Instagram empire of boss babe brunches, Alex's TED Talks on ethical AI. I watched them build on my ruins, Neuralink reborn as Boss Dynamics, valued at $2 billion, with Vicky as CFO and Alex the untouchable CEO. Parole came after 4 years, a bureaucratic mercy on good behavior. I emerged into a Bay Area that had moved on without me, self-driving Ubers zipping past ghost kitchens.
Faces burie din arglases.
Mom had died while I was inside. Cancer eating her from the inside out. Vicky too busy to notice the signs. Dad? He'd bought her story. Sent me Christmas cards addressed to the prodigal. I rented a basement studio in Oakland. Took a gig scrubbing data for a crypto scam. Under the table. Off the books. But revenge isn't a job, it's a religion. My first move was subtle, a ghost account on LinkedIn. Elena Voss, Alex's long-lost cousin from his fabricated backstory. I fed it crumbs fabricated emails hinting at offshore accounts. Whispers of the hack's true architects. Controversy brewed in tech forums. Anonymous posts accusing Voss Dynamics of insider trading. Vicky's flawless facade cracked first. A tabloid piece on her mysterious past dredged up our Evanston roots, painting her as the ice queen who let her sister rot. But they were clever, closing ranks with lawyers and PR spins. Family drama, Alex dismissed in a podcast, his voice smooth as scotch. Samantha's bitterness is understandable. But let's focus on the future. The future. Yeah, I'd give them one. The penthouse in Chicago was their fortress. A glass area overlooking the loop where the city's pulse thrummed like a guilty heart. Vicky had insisted on the wedding there, neutral ground. She said, away from the valley vultures. I'd scored an invite through Elena's web, a +1 forged from sheer audacity. Dressed in a thrift store sheath that hugged Vicky's old curves, echoes of the swap still guided my tailoring. I slipped past security with a forged badge and a smile that didn't reach my eyes. The ceremony was a spectacle, fairy lights strung like veins across the skyline. Champagne flutes clinking to toasts about, disrupting love itself. Vicky glowed in ivory silk. Alex at her side in a bespoke Tom Ford, his hand possessive on her waist. I lurked in the shadows of the caterer's alley, nursing a stolen glass of Veuve, my tablet humming with the payload I'd prepped for months. It was a worm, elegant and vicious, burrowing through Voss Dynamics' quantum-encrypted servers. One tap, and it would bloom. Every dirty secret, from the swap logs to the Cayman ledgers, broadcast to the SEC, the Times, every crypto bro's Twitter feed. But doubt not. Was this justice or just spite? Mom's voice echoed from prison visits, her frail hand on the glass. Forgive.
Sammy.
Hate eats the hater. Fuck that. Forgiveness was for suckers who hadn't felt their sister's heels grinding their dreams to dust. Still, as I watched them cut the cake, 7 tiers of red velvet, blood-red frosting, I hesitated. Vicky caught my eye across the crowd. A flicker of recognition?
No.
Impossible. The swap's echoes were one way. She'd scrubbed hers clean. Then Alex leaned in, whispering something that made her throw back her head in laughter, the same laugh she'd used to mock my prison letters. Rage ignited, hot and clarifying. I hit send. Chaos erupted like a glitch in the Matrix. Phones buzzed in unison, faces paling under the string lights. What the hell? Alex snarled, yanking his device from his pocket. Vicky's mask slipped, her eyes darting to me, no. Through me, as murmurs swelled to a roar. Insider trading. The hack, it was them. Guests fled like roaches to light. Paparazzi drones whirring overhead, capturing the downfall in 4K. I slipped out amid the exodus, heart pounding to the rhythm of Lake Street sirens. Back in my rented Chevy, I drove east toward the Indiana border. Radio crackling with the news. Voss Dynamics implodes in scandal. CEO Alexander Voss and fiancée Victoria Hale accused of corporate espionage.
Hale.
My name. Twisted into her noose. Satisfaction bloomed, bitter as black coffee, but it was fleeting. They'd trace it back. Elena's trail led to me. Eventually. The safe house was a dingy motel off I-90, the kind where truckers pay by the hour and the ice machine groans like a dying beast. I holed up there. Chain-smoking camels, Vicky's vice. Another echo, and monitoring the fallout. Arrest warrants dropped by midnight. Alex's face. Usually so composed. Twisted in mugshots. Vicky's mascara streaked in a perp walk that trended on TikTok. Sister betrayal went viral. Armchair therapists dissecting our fractured sibling bond like it was reality TV. But they didn't go quietly. Alex lawyered up with a firm that ate whistleblowers for breakfast, spinning the leak as a deepfake psyop from Chinese hackers. Vicky? She went nuclear. A tearful presser from a fortified brownstone. My sister's revenge fantasy has destroyed everything. Samantha's always been unstable. Prison broke her. Unstable. The word stung. A scalpel to old wounds. I'd borne her sins, the hack. Yes. But deeper, our teen years. When she'd pinned Dad's embezzlement from the family firm on me. A juvenile record that haunted my clearances. Secrets upon secrets. Layered like Chicago's winter snow. The controversial call came at 3 a.m., my burner buzzing with an unknown number. I answered. Voice steady. Sammy. Vicky's timbre. Ragged from crying. We need to talk. Talk. Like you talk to the feds. I lit another smoke. The cherry glowing like a tiny inferno.
Please.
Alex, He's not who you think. A pause. Heavy with implication. The swap. It wasn't us. He forced it. For the tech. For control. I took the fall to protect you. Lies. Slick as oil. But a sliver of doubt wormed in. The echoes. Flashes of Alex's rages. His demands in the lab. Had Vicky been complicit? Or coerced?
No.
She'd profited.
Preened.
Save it for the judge, I said. Hanging up. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. The motel's neon sign flickering, vacancy, like a bad omen. I ditched the Chevy for a bus to Detroit, blending into the Greyhound crowd of dreamers and drifters.
En route.
I doxed their allies, board members, investors, leaking compromat that turned Wall Street against them. Voss Dynamics hemorrhaged $500 million in a day. Alex's net worth tanked from 9 figures to zilch. Poetic. Really. But revenge is a serpent. It devours its tail. Detroit was my pivot. A Rust Belt phoenix where old money mingled with crypto hustles. I crashed with a former cellmate's cousin, a hacker named Rico who ran dark web ops from a basement in Hamtramck. You're playing with fire. Chica, he warned, his fingers flying over a keyboard rigged with RGB lights like a rave in hell. Voss ain't done. Guys got private security. Off-books wet work. Wet work. The word hung. Controversial as a loaded Glock. I'd cross lines, digital sabotage. Sure. But blood? That was the abyss staring back. Nights blurred into code binges. Rico and I crafting a final strike, a deep fake vid of Alex confessing, spliced with real audio from the swap logs. It'd air on every underground stream. Seal their fate. But as we rendered it, Vicky's plea echoed. What if? The decision crystallized over pierogies at a Polish diner. Steam rising like ghosts. I chose the path less traveled, the one with teeth. Not just exposure, escalation. I reached out to an old Neuralink whistleblower, a neuroethicist named Dr. Lena Kaur, now teaching at Wayne State. Over encrypted Zoom, her face lined with regret, she confirmed, "The swap tech? Voss patented it under your name,
Sam.
to cover the glitch." Vicky signed off. Betrayal's knife twisted deeper. My IP, my brainchild, laundered through their lies. Fury fueled the upload. The deepfake hit at noon. Alex's virtual avatar spilling guts to a faceless interviewer. We framed Samantha to test the limits. Consciousness is currency. Hers was collateral. Pandemonium. CNBC looped it. Reddit's r/conspiracy crowned me a folk hero. Alex holed up in a panic room. Vicky fled to a spa in Aspen. But the hounds bayed. I watched from Rico's lair, a bottle of Stroh's sweating in my hand, as their world burned. Yet victory tasted like ash. Mom's voice again. What's left when the fight's over? That night, the twist dropped like a bomb. A encrypted drop from an anonymous source, Alex's burner. Attached, a video file,
Timestamped from the lab.
not the swap I remembered. In it, Vicky strapped me down, her face alight with zeal. For the greater good.
Sammy.
Alex needs your mind, pure, untainted. Mine's too. Ambitious. She injected the drip herself. Alex hovering like a surgeon's assistant. The glitch was deliberate. They'd planned to keep me in her body, harvest my neural purity for the tech, while she lived my unassuming life. Dodging scrutiny.
No.
My heart jackhammered. I'd taken the fall not just for the hack, for everything. Vicky had orchestrated it all. Alex her willing blade. The deepfake? Child's play compared to this truth. But the file ended with a kicker. Coordinates to a warehouse in Gary, Indiana. Come alone, the note read. Or the world sees your real crime. My real crime? What the fuck did that mean? Gary's industrial wasteland greeted me like a bad memory. The warehouse a hulking skeleton of Bethlehem Steel's glory days. Rusted girders clawing at a bruised sky.
Ide di Sharricos Varnins.
Armed only with a USB drive of countermeasures and a .38 snubnose bought from a pawnshop ghost. Controversial?
Hell yes.
But in America's heartland, self-defense is sacrament. The air reeked of diesel and despair. Wind whistling through chain link like the moans of laid-off souls.
Inside.
Fluorescence buzzed erratically, casting shadows that danced like accusations. Vicky stood center stage. Not the poised exec, but a hollowed version, hair limp, Chanel suit rumpled, flanked by two goons in ill-fitting black. Alex was absent. Or so I thought. A figure slumped in the corner resolved into him, zip-tied to a chair, gag biting into his cheek. Bruises bloomed on his jaw, eyes wild with something between fear and fury. Sammy, Vicky purred, stepping forward, her heels echoing like gunshots. You came. I knew you would. Cut the Lifetime movie shit. I leveled the .38, steady as my coder's hand on a keyboard. The video. You played me. From the start, she smiled. A serpent's curve. Guilty. But not for the reasons you think. A nod to the goons. One yanked Alex's gag free. He spat blood, rasping. She's lying.
Sam.
It was her idea, the swap, the frame. I tried to stop it. Vicky laughed, sharp as shattered glass.
Oh.
Darling, the drama. You built the machine. I just pulled the lever. She circled me. Slow, appraising. Remember Dad's firm? The embezzlement? That was me.
Sammy.
College tuition doesn't pay itself. You took the rap because you were the good girl, always cleaning my messes. The revelation landed like a gut punch. I'd known fragments, buried under sibling loyalty. But this? Why? Survival of the fittest. Her eyes gleamed. Manic. Neuralink was my ticket out. But your code, pure, innovative, threatened to eclipse me.
So we swapped.
I lived your life long enough to sabotage from within, plant the hack on your map. Alex? He was the prize. The visionary I deserved. Alex thrashed against his bonds. She blackmailed me. The affair before you.
Some.
She had tapes. The swap was her insurance. Affair. The word detonated. Shards embedding in my chest. Echoes from the neural bleed. Vicky's memories. Not of love, but conquest. She'd seduced him to bind him. Then us all in her web. You both deserve the abyss, I whispered, finger tightening on the trigger. The climax crested then, raw and operatic. Vicky lunged, not at me, but the goons, a hidden blade flashing from her sleeve. Chaos, grunts and scuffles. The .38 barking once.
Wild.
Shattering a bulb in a spray of sparks. Alex broke free in the melee, tackling Vicky as she drove the knife toward my throat. They rolled, a tangle of limbs and betrayal, her screams mingling with his curses. You used me, he roared. For what? Power you can't hold. I stood frozen, gun limp, as the truth inverted. The goons lay stunned, one groaning from my stray shot flesh wound. Thank Christ. Vicky pinned Alex, blade at his jugular, her face a rictus of vindication. Power? This is legacy. Samantha's the ghost, always has been.
No.
I surged forward, tackling her off him, the three of us a writhing knot on the oil-slicked concrete. The knife skittered away, fists flew, nails raking. Vicky's strength surprised me, desperation's fuel, and she pinned me, breath hot on my face. You think you won? The deep fake, it's traced to you. Cyber-terrorism. You'll rot again. The twist hit like lightning, her phone, buzzing on the floor, screen alight with a live feed. Not to the feds, to a streaming service. Our brawl broadcast to the dark web. Revenge porn for the algorithm, she hissed. The world watches the Hale sisters destroy each other. Ratings gold. Horror clawed at my spine. Controversial? This was apocalypse. Our pain monetized in real time. Alex groaned, crawling for the knife. Vicky whirled. But I was faster, years in the yard honing reflexes. I drove my elbow into her temple, a crack like fate's door slamming. She slumped, eyes fluttering shut, blood trickling from her lip. Silence fell, broken only by distant semis on the expressway. Alex rose, knife in hand, gaze locked on me.
Some.
End this. I took the blade. Its weighted judgment. Him or her, both architects of my cage. But as I raised it, the echoes surged, a final neural gasp. Vicky's terror. Not malice. In the lab. She'd swapped to escape Dad's shadow. Alex's grip.
No.
Excuses. The decision was mine. Controversial as voting third party in a swing state, mercy laced with poison. I cut the bonds, tossed Alex the keys to my getaway car.
Run.
But know this, the logs are out. Your empire's ash. He hesitated, then fled into the night, taillights fading like a bad dream. Vicky stirred as sirens wailed, my anonymous tip to 911, timed perfectly. She'd faced the music, fraud, assault, the works.
Me?
I melted into Gary's underbelly, a ghost in the machine once more. Months later, from a cabin in the up, I watched the fallout on a solar-powered laptop. Vicky's trial dominates scene, Hailgate. A circus of testimonies and twists. Alex vanished in Mexico. Rumored cartel ties surfacing like buried mines. She claims victimhood, spins tales of my manipulation, but the swap logs, my final upload, tell the truth. Jury's deliberate, verdicts penned. Happy ending? Depends on your metric. I'm free, untraceable, coding for a co-op in Marquette that builds open-source neural nets for the disabled. No vegans. No spotlight, just quiet purpose. But nights bring dreams. Vicky's face in mine. Alex's laugh echoing. Revenge healed nothing. It just rearranged the scars. She said she'd been waiting for this moment. So had I. And in the end,
Who won?
you tell me.